So last week we had the Enduro World Series come to Innerleithen, Scotland, which is like my hometown. And it was a really epic race. Loads of people turned up. It was an absolutely amazing experience. But one thing that got me thinking about things and wanting to make this YouTube video was to figure out how pro riders actually ride so fast. So in the race I finished 74th place, which doesn't sound great on paper, but if you are watching this and you've raced an Enduro World Series before, or you literally know what the level of racing and competition is like, you'll understand just how crazy you have to be to do well at these races now. You can't make mistakes, you have to be really consistent, and you have to have skill sets and strengths in every area of mountain biking. You can't just like rely on one single skill set and then, you know, fall back on the others kind of thing, if that makes sense. I wanted to break down where pro riders find their time and like how they're actually making these margins on most of the field, because when I finished stage 1 last week on Saturday, which was the pro stage, I came down and I was in 73rd place or 72nd place, something like that. Between me and like the top 5 there was about 18 seconds, 15 seconds or something, so it was fairly tight over like a 4-minute-ish track, 3.5, 4-minute track. But when you see that number at the bottom of a track and you just see 18 seconds, it's a lot of time, unless you start breaking things down and figuring out, okay, so where's this time actually coming from? Is there a certain part of the track that pro riders are able to excel? Is there like a certain feature on the track? Is there lines that these guys know about and girls know about that we don't know about? My goal with this video is to kind of do like a split screen breakdown of a pro rider and myself to show you exactly where and how these guys are making these margins. So before I started making this video, I actually reached out to Melamed, who is like, he finished 3rd overall in the championship this year, so he is like one of the fastest enduro racers like at this time right now. And on the pro stage, which is the first stage on Saturday, he was 5th place and he was 18 seconds faster than me. So I thought it'd be cool to reach out to Jesse, and I actually asked him if I could grab his YouTube video of his pro stage and then compare it to mine to show you guys exactly whereabouts on the track he made most of his time and ended up landing in 5th place on that stage and 3rd place overall in the Enduro World Series Championship. So my main goal with this video is to break these lines down, and hopefully it'll actually show you as well how to ride faster and pick better lines on trails, and basically where you can improve as well. Okay, so I have set up on my screen a split screen between my GoPro footage and Jesse Melamed's GoPro footage. Jesse will be on the right and I'm going to be on the left hand side of the screen, and I'm going to break this video down into 3 parts. The track which this was filmed on, the stage we raced on, it crossed 2 fire roads, so essentially we could break the track down into 3 pieces. We could do the first section of the track, which is the start to the first fire break. The second bit of track is from that fire break to the next fire break down, and then the third and final part is down to the finish. We'll be able to actually look specifically at which sections Jesse is pulling the most time on me in and where he's excelling and how he's doing it. So what I've actually done is I've actually created a video before I've started this video, and I've lined the clips up exactly so we're both at the start at the same time. So all I have to do is click the space bar and we're off to the races. So 3, 2, 1, go. I'm just going to let it play now so you can see what's going on. I'm going to pause it just here. So, as you can see in this first bit of track, it's quite tight and muddy in the trees, and it was all about acceleration at the start. Jesse isn't a very aggressive rider as it is. You can see his front wheel moving all over the place. That just shows how much he's pulling on the handlebars, whereas I feel like I'm a little bit more reserved. Like, there's not really much movement in my front wheel. But if you look at where I've stopped it now, we've come out to this open section, and Jesse looks like he is about a bike length in front of me, or maybe a bike length and a half, which isn't much at all in the grand scale of things. I wanted to stop it here because as we go into this first set of woods, there's a very crucial section of track. So we'll play this bit and we'll play it down to the fire road. So let's go. Fire road. Oh yeah. Now you can see it's starting to pull away slowly. Not substantially, but slowly but surely. You really see now he's getting aggressive. Okay, so Jesse's already out into the open. I'm coming onto the straight now. And he's over the road jump now. Okay, so I'll just wait for myself to come over the road jump. And you can see there, just in that first portion of track, he's already probably pulled on me 2 or 3 seconds. There wasn't really too much substantially going on there, but if I just rewind it, there was one key turn which kind of dictated the speed for that whole bit of track, in my opinion. As we come into the woods here, there's a right-hand corner, which if you watch my speed and watch Jesse's speed, Jesse hits that corner with much more speed than I do. So he carries more speed out, he probably puts a few more stronger pedal strokes in than I did, and if you just watch how much speed he gains down that next 15 seconds of track, it's mind-blowing. So watch, straight in, boom, off the brakes, and he's pedaling out. I came to a little bit of a slow in that corner, and he's already accelerating down to that corner. Boom. Look how much speed he's carrying past that Shimano banner, into the left-hand corner. You can actually see visibly how much more speed he's carrying just in that little bit of track. We'll fast forward and we'll go down to the next third of the track. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the second section of the track, which is from the road gap down to the second fire road down. What I've actually done is, I've actually reset the video clips, so me and Jesse are just landing off the road jump together, so then we can break each section down by section rather than the whole track in one piece, if that makes sense. So then I can show you as well where he's pulling the time and what that actually looks like in real time. So we're going to click spacebar and I'm going to show you just how much time Jesse pulls on me on this section, which is quite impressive. So we've just landed the road gap and we're going to bomb down the tunnel now. There isn't really too much time in this section. The key section's coming up now though. Jesse went inside there, went outside, and he's already carrying more speed up the climb over the flat section. Now he's starting to pull away from me. Interesting line there, he went outside the berm and I went inside. This is where he starts to open the taps. Now he's really starting to attack. Full YOLO. He's pulling. Gap's getting bigger. And he's into the open already. Oh. He clipped his tree on he clipped his bar on a tree or his shoulder. Okay, and Jesse is coming onto the fire road now. Alex, come onto the fire road now. Okay, so you can see there how much time he actually pulled in me in just that one section of track, and you'll see on the screen what time that was. I think it's going to be about 6 to 8 seconds of time, which is a considerable amount on a 4-minute downhill track. So if we just rewind a bit and just look at some key sections. The tunnel, the first part was fairly neck and neck. Once you're up to speed down that, there isn't really much room for pulling time on other people, but as soon as we get to the end of the tunnel, there's a little bit of a climb and then a flat section. That's the first key section where Jesse started to pull away from me because he carried more speed up the hill and onto the flat section, whereas I kind of like let my bike coast up the hill and then started pedaling, which is a bit of a mistake. As well, coming into it, Jesse was inside and I was low already, and he starts pedaling a lot earlier, and I think he's just being overall more aggressive, muscling the bike round, and he's already pulled maybe 3 bike lengths just in that section. And then as soon as we get into this next section, that's where Jesse really starts to open the taps. Ironically, I rode with Jesse the week before the EWS and he was telling me all about where his hometown is in Squamish in British Columbia in Canada. And I asked him, like, you know, what do you think of the trails here? And he said, you know, they're very similar to what they get in Squamish, like in terms of the dirt condition. The tightness of the trees isn't something you really get in Squamish like that, but this section here where Jesse pulled a lot of time is very much like what you would expect to ride in Squamish. So you can see why he advanced so much of this. He literally let off the brakes, was committing to every corner, risking a lot more than I was potentially risking, and obviously came out on top by the time we got to the next fire road because he was a bigger margin of time in front. And watch how far he launched into the berm now. Boom, he's miles ahead. And I still can't believe he hit his shoulder on that tree. So now we're on section 3. So this is the final portion of the track. So we're going from the second fire road down to the finish now, and we're going to see what happens here. So I've reset our starting positions again, and we're just coming onto the second fire road, about to drop back into the final part of the track. So we'll go 3, 2, 1, go. We drop in. Look like he carried a bit more speed around that tight right to start with. I messed this part of the track up. Again, he's just higher average speed all round, really. I could probably keep him in sight just about, but he's pulling slowly. He's really motoring now. Really motoring. He's a good 1 corner or so ahead now. He's onto the road jump. He's onto the last fire road now. I'm just approaching the last fire road, and he's already sprinting towards the finish. I'm onto the last fire road. Jesse's already at the top of the climb, about to drop into the last field. So he's now into the field, off the bridge. I'm just coming up the climb into the field. Wow, this is really interesting. Jesse's already storming to the finish. I'm just about entering the field now. And he's already sprinting to the finish, already sprinting, and Jesse has finished. I'm just coming to the last straight now, sprint to the finish line. Nearly there. And cross the finish line. So even in that bottom section, you can see where Jesse really did excel. Like, I think it was just the higher average speed. The conditions were very similar, you know, it's slightly wider trees, similar to the section 2 that we looked at where Jesse pulled a lot of time on the air as well. And he was just a lot more aggressive on the bike. It's a little bit different seeing it from this perspective where you can see us both starting at the same point and then seeing how much time somebody pulls or, you know, gains or loses in one specific section. If I'd have left the GoPro footage as it was without resetting the clips at every fire road, you'd have obviously seen that margin that was at the bottom of the track, which is like 18 seconds. So very interesting way of breaking things down. I hope you guys found that real interesting, because when you ask yourself, like, somebody's just put 18 seconds into me on a track I know quite well, you really start to question, like, okay, so where did the time come from? Because if you just say, oh, it's 18 seconds back, and never really break down where that time was made or lost, it's kind of hard for you to you know, learn from your mistakes and like progress forward. So actually it's been a really valuable skill having a split screen GoPro like this and just really seeing like where the pro riders really do make their speed on a track, because it's not just like 1 or 2 features, it's like a really gradual gain over the course of a stage. And obviously if you do that over every single stage on an enduro race, if you've got 5-6 stages, that's a huge margin over the day, and that is how these guys are doing it. So I hope you guys found this really interesting. Let me know in the comments as well if you enjoyed this, if you want me to do more of this stuff. More than happy to do it and break down like more styles of runs kind of thing like this, and see what we can learn from it. But hope you guys enjoyed that, and see you in the next video.